so nervous that this got hot all of a sudden. I don't know. So that's exactly what happens when you're not ready. When you still have to do a regular, boring old job. And first, let me see. Let me set up my phone first. I still got to do it through the phone, but the upgrade is coming soon. Fear not. Fear not. Sooner or later, we will have video, which it'll take some getting accustomed to. But it's like everything. When I started talking to myself, well, I should say talking to you, to all of you that are listening, it was kind of hard. I'm not gonna lie. The thing is, you think you know what you're gonna say, but then you don't. You're so worried about not sounding like a dumbass. At least for me and my part, that's what I worried about. And also, I worry about not breaking my stuff. Right? I almost chopped my cable right there. I should have been ready. I mixed up my times. See, my friend who I've had on episode 97, this was back in, December maybe? Yeah, I think it was December. It was fun talking to him. He was telling us about all the stuff he's into, about his comics and Marvel and not Marvel. Wow, that's so. That he'll probably be offended once he hears this. You'll probably be offended. My bad, Schubert. I'm just trying to get in the zone right now because I got home and then I realized my timing was wrong. I thought I still had another hour to get ready, but no matter. Okay, let's see. I gotta make sure that it's looking at me correctly. There it is. All right, are we ready? You know what? I'm gonna close this door. There you go. That's better lighting. He'll be able to see me a lot better. So without further ado, I bring to you my friend, Ben Schubert. There we go. Schubert is waiting in the room. Let's admit my friend, Ben Schubert.
How's that?
There you go. That's better. The video's lagging a little bit, but the audio sounds perfect. It's good. No issues with that.
Say again?
Oh, they said that. Oh, well, I guess you can't. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah. No, I was trying to use my cell phone. That's the first time I tried to do that. So.
Oh, okay. Well, mine's work. That's what I use it on, unfortunately, but it works. So I guess I must be lucky.
Yeah. Yep. All right.
So how you been, Ben? Okay, come on. Introduce yourself. What do you got? Talk about your podcast and everything first before we get into what you've been up to.
Sure. Well, everything's been great so far since the last time we talked. I'm going to school right now for electronic journalism, so I can get better at podcasting and all that. I was invited to watch Zack Snider's Justice League with Zack Snider. That was very exciting.
Awesome.
Yeah. And my TikTok page has just been growing. I've been doing a new series where I do origins of the superheroes for upcoming movies. I'm currently working on Suicide Squad, all the characters in Suicide Squad. I'm currently working on that. And so far, everything's just, everything's going up, Ben, so it's all good.
Right. That's great, man. Sounds like you're having fun. That's awesome.
I definitely am.
How was it? How was the movie that you went to see with who was it again? Ben what? What was it? His name again?
It was the new Justice League movie. The Zack Snider's Justice League.
Okay.
Yeah. HBO Max and Senior Watch Party. They reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to watch it with Zack Snider.
How did they reach to you? Like they reached you to like Instagram. TikTok? Oh, nice.
Instagram. They just messaged me and they said, "Do you want to be a VIP? Do you want to be a VIP member?" Like there was like 26,000 people watching, but I was like one of the few people that was able to ask him questions.
Right.
That was really cool.
The point is you were there.
Right. And he knew I was there. He answered a couple of my questions,
That's awesome that you got to do that. When was this?
Literally the day the movie dropped. So I forgot what day the movie dropped, but the day of. Because I remember I watched the movie first by myself. It's a 4-hour movie, by the way.
Ooh,
So,
long.
yeah, so I watched it by myself, and then immediately after I watched the movie with him. So I watched 8 hours of nothing but Justice League. And I just
Nice.
learned today that they just dropped a black and white version of the movie, and I kind of want to watch it now. So, well, I watch it a third time, you know?
Is it like kind of like I know Dark Knight was DC, right? Is it kind of like that? Is it like a dark movie like that,
Oh
or?
yeah. It's not. It's a dark movie, but it's like Batman versus Superman and Man of Steel. It's that director,
Okay,
and
okay.
like you know the original story behind that, right?
I'm aware of it. I'm just not up to date on details with it. I just know that
Well,
they got in a fight. That's pretty much it.
well, it wasn't exactly that. Basically, what happened was Zack Snider's daughter. She unfortunately committed suicide, so he ended up leaving the project to deal with that. And Warner Brothers hired Joss Whedon to come in and do some reshoots, and nobody was happy with the final product. So everybody was like, "Release the Snyder cut! Release the Snyder cut!" And HBO Max finally did. And so far, everybody's loved it. I haven't heard anybody really talk bad about it.
Is this on HBO or?
It is on HBO
Oh, okay.
Max.
Oh, HBO Max. Okay, nice,
Yeah, it's
nice.
like an HBO Max original. Yeah.
Oh, cool, man. I'm so excited that you got to experience that. That's so cool.
It was an experience of a lifetime. I was so happy when like they reached out to me. I was like, "You are kidding!" Like I almost did a backflip, you know. And I was just so excited. And now everybody's inviting me onto their podcast. Like I think I've been on 3 podcasts just about the Snyder Cut alone. So
Nice. To be
you know,
honest,
everybody.
I haven't been keeping up. Oh, damn, I can't even talk. I haven't been keeping up with your page. I just
Oh,
reminded
don't worry about it,
myself
man.
of, like, I was like, I'm gonna just hit him up, see what he's up to, see if he wants to come on the podcast. But
Oh yeah, no, I'm always down for a podcast, man.
that's great to hear this, man. I'm gonna keep bugging you then, like I said before. So, what have you been working on though, besides this? Because that's exciting that you got to do that. And I'm thinking right now that none of that would have happened if you wouldn't have launched yourself to make those little clips on TikTok, right?
Yeah, no, that's where they found me. See, there was this new app. It's like this new watch party app that people that just started up, but they team up with all these big companies. They reached out to me. They said, "Wow, we can tell you're just a huge fan of these things. Do you want to watch the movie with them?" And I was like, "Sign me up. Where do I sign? You know, like yes."
It's
And
not
they're
like
like,
you're
"All
not
right,
gonna.
all
It's
you gotta do,
not like
all you
you're
gotta
gonna.
do."
I'm sorry. Go on.
Oh yeah, they said all you gotta do is make a promotional video, and we'll give you a VIP pass. And I was like, "Bet," you know.
That's where the creativity comes in right there. That paid for
Right.
that, right? That
Yeah, and
experience.
it's all because of those TikTok videos that I decided to make one day.
Dang, I'm thinking about it. I beat myself up so much because it took me forever to start doing this.
Right. And you know, like a year ago, I started my podcast, and I didn't think it was going to go anywhere. And I was on a podcast called The High Ground a couple weeks ago. My buddy Darth Chaco, he invited me on, and we were talking about podcasting. And one guy who runs the Keeg Show, he said, basically, do something that you would do for free, you know. And this is something I would do for free. I
Yeah.
enjoy what I do, and you know, now I'm starting to get paid for it, and it's just great.
Small man. There you go. Now you're about ready. Even did you have a 9 to 5?
I did have a 9 to 5. Remember, I used to wash dishes.
That's
I
right.
used to
That's
do
right.
dishes.
That's right. Yeah.
Right now, I'm in college. Like literally, I'm sitting in my dorm room right now at the University of Tennessee,
Oh,
and
nice.
yeah, and this is where all the magic happens in this tiny little dorm room that is smaller than my bedroom back at home.
But it
And
works for now. You got to work what you
yeah,
got.
yeah, my dad was telling me the other day. I went home the other weekend. My dad was like, "Oh man, how are you just spending all your time up there?" I was like, "You do know I spend like all of my time in college because since everything's online right now."
Right.
Yeah, I was like, "You do know every minute of my college life right now has been in a room that's half the size of my bedroom, and you're wondering why I have no problem leaving my bedroom. Like, yeah, I'm comfortable here."
That's where you work. That's where you relax. That's where you do
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, it's great. You know, all you gotta do is throw up a green screen. Nobody knows. You know?
Yeah. I would haven't even known because behind you got superheroes behind you.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
it's great.
Okay, so but what have you been working on? Like, did you say you were working on a comic?
I was working on a Power Ranger series, but they're currently doing rewriting right now. But I still think they're still like on board with it. I think they're just they're doing a little bit of rewriting.
Oh, okay.
A comic book series, not that I know. I may have been a part of one. I may have helped people like start their own comic series. Like I would give them pointers and tips and whatnot. But right now, I've been talking about like superhero origins, like
Hmm.
the new Suicide Squad movie that's coming out. James Gunn, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, is doing the new Suicide Squad movie.
What?
And
That
yeah,
should
he's
be
written
interesting.
and directed. Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm so excited. And basically, he's introducing all these characters that nobody's ever heard of, like Polka Dot Man, King Shark, Soul Serrera, Ratcatcher. These are characters that nobody has ever heard of.
Where
And
does he
I'm
pick
just
them
like,
up from, though? Are they part of the comics or?
they are. They are. There's an old 80s Suicide Squad run, and they are all part of it. And this is what he's basing it on. Like, John Cena is going to be in this movie as Peacemaker.
Will we?
And
Will
yeah,
so we'll be able to see him?
yes, John Cena
I'm,
will be able to see him in
it was a
costume. Yeah.
joke. It was.
I got you. No, I got you. No, I thought you meant like King Shark, because Sylvester Stallone is also in this movie, but it's just his
Oh,
voice.
okay, okay.
He's playing King Shark,
Oh,
which is very
they're doing
very fun.
something with a green screen with this character.
Well, it's yeah, like a CGI. It's like the shark. It's they didn't actually have a shark on set, walking
Right.
around.
Obviously, you can't do that,
Right.
right?
So they CGI'd a shark in, and Sylvester Stallone is the voice for it, which
Oh,
is very
wow.
exciting.
I'm more
Yeah.
interested in that one because now you're getting somebody that came from the Marvel world to work on the
Yeah.
DC world. See how that's going to be
Well, yeah, it was
interesting.
after Marvel fired him for the indecent tweets that he made 10 years ago.
Come
He
on,
made
been, that's a long
right.
time ago.
Disney rehired him. Disney rehired him.
Okay, that's
They realized
good.
because he made a public apology. It was no different than dead baby jokes. Like they were at the
Right.
time that he made them, which was 10 years ago. People would have thought that was funny. So, but
The problem,
nowadays people
yeah,
are like,
yeah. People are crazy. They're going back to seeing what you said 10 years ago, even though everybody knows that you're not the same person you were 10 years ago.
right.
Things changed. Well, I'm glad that he got it, that they rehired him for that project. That's awesome because, like I said, that's exciting to know that we're gonna see somebody that comes from the Marvel world to the DC world.
Yes, and it's so exciting. I'm very happy. And James Gunn likes to reuse actors. So Sean Gunn's gonna be in it. He was also in the MCU. Sylvester Stallone was in the MCU. I
Wait,
don't know
he
if John Cena
was?
was. Yeah, he was in Guardians of the Galaxy too.
Oh, okay, okay.
He had a minor role. Michael Rooker, the guy who played Yondu, the guy who whistles with the mohawk, he's going to be a main player in this movie. So he's bringing over old actors. He loves doing that, which is super exciting. But like I said, there's so many characters that he has in this that nobody's ever heard of, and I'm just like, well, why don't I tell these people who they are?
Right.
It and so far it's been doing good. Like I've only done about two so far for the Suicide Squad, and that was the Thinker and Peacemaker. So, and I believe I'm going to be doing King Shark next, and then Bloodshot. So
I got to
there
go back and watch those videos because I got to know who these characters are because I've
there are
never,
trailers.
yeah,
The trailers out.
I've never heard any of this of those names that you're naming right now. That's why I'm
They're
like,
very low key. They're low characters. Nobody's ever heard of them. I think the biggest character in this movie is going to be Harley Quinn. That
oh,
is the
obviously, right?
biggest.
That was big
She
the
is going to
last
be the
one.
biggest character. She's the biggest character in this movie, and she's not even going to be the main focus.
Are they using
Which
the
is
same what's her name, the same chick or
yes, Saint Margot Robbie. Yeah,
Margot Robbie?
they're still using her, which is great. She's a perfect Harley Quinn. I love her
Yeah,
as
she
Harley
was
Quinn.
good. What about the Joker? Is the Joker gonna be on
Jared
there?
Leto, no, he is not going to be in this movie. Not that I know of, at least. They haven't hinted at him whatsoever. In Birds of Prey, they said that her and the Joker had broken up, and Jared Leto wasn't even in that movie, and they kind of did like an animated version of him. But yeah, Jared Leto, he was in the Snyder Cut for a little bit, and he did a great job as the Joker in that. But I think we might see a little more of Jared Leto soon. But at this moment, I do not think that Jared Leto is going to be in this movie anyway.
What about that? I think it's Diablo. Is it Diablo?
El Diablo?
well, is gonna be anyone or not? Because that was a badass character.
I loved him in the last movie, but I think I literally just watched the movie today. He died. He died.
Oh, so yeah. Okay,
he
so
can't come back. Well,
yeah.
it's comics. He could come back, but it's called the Suicide Squad. So don't. And the tagline for this new movie is called "Don't Get Attached." You know,
so everybody's dying. Spoiler alert.
Everybody has a chance of dying. Nobody is safe in this movie. Even Harley Quinn has a chance of being dead.
I never watched Game of Thrones, but I've heard that every character was dying in Game of Thrones. Every time somebody would get attached to it. I wouldn't be able to tell you. Oh, okay, never mind then. But put that analogy aside. But that's what I think. That's what that means. That's just my thinking. For sure. Well, what about you? Said you're working on the. Can I hear? Hello? I can't hear you. I lost you again. No. There you go. There you are.
And yep. Okay, so you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right. Yeah, no, this new mic is starting to this mic's starting to I might be time for a new mic. It's almost been 3 years with this guy.
Oh, so wow. It already put it
might be sometime. If it's about $100, you know, it's been doing pretty well. I'm sure you can hear me very
clearly. What mics do you use?
It's called a Razer Siren X. It's a gaming mic. I bought it at a Walmart because I needed a mic. So.
Oh, okay. I use the Samsung Q2Us. This was a pretty decent. I like them.
Yeah, it sounds good.
They're $80. They're XLR.
Go to Best Buy and pick up something. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, these ones are pretty nice. I like them.
Yeah, what I want to get is a new webcam. That's what I want to get because my computer head cam. I mean, it gets good quality, but I'm just like, eh.
Yeah, no, it looks good. It looks great. I mean,
yeah.
For what we're using it right now, it looks great. Yeah, I know that's what I need to implement on my podcast. I need to do video. That I know that'll make it a lot better.
I just started live streaming on YouTube, and it's been doing great so far. You just got to make sure you got good connection. That's all you.
Yes, because if you lose connection, then nobody's gonna want to watch.
And then you'll have to remake a whole new video. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the biggest. That'll be the biggest.
All those people, like let's say you had 3,000 people listening. Guess what? They're probably not going to look for you again.
Are those, when you say 3,000 people looking at you, are those your numbers? Because my numbers are nowhere near that.
At this point, no, it is not. I think my point is about 50 listeners per podcast at least. So far, it's been doing great. I've actually been using my podcast for a project for one of my classes, which is fun. So basically, she was like, you guys could start a podcast for your final project. I was like, hey, we already have a podcast.
Too late for that. Too late for starting one.
She was like, okay, fine. Yeah, you can do that. Just write a 7-page paper and turn in your podcast and you're set. I was like, yeah.
Damn, that's interesting.
So, you know, I
see,
great.
You're doing it the right way though, because you're going to school for that. I'm just winging it, and that's why you're having the success that you're having, and obviously you put more effort into it than I do, because like I gotta go to work, like I got kids, so it's a little harder for me. To say
you enjoy doing it. I can tell you enjoy doing it, and you would be willing to do it for free.
Oh yeah, I'm doing it for free now. I'm doing it I'm getting at least 5 per episode, 5 downloads per episode, so it's growing.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's better than what it was last year. That's for sure.
Right. You started at 0, so you're getting somewhere.
Yeah, so
that's what I always tell myself.
Yeah. So I mean, that's how I started looking. But recently, I just started like, all right, I'm just gonna do it. Whatever. I'm not even gonna look at the numbers no more, because I mean, they'll go up when they'll go up, and I'll just keep trying to get better every time we do this. Because I've even noticed it myself. Like, I could talk a lot better than when I started, dude.
I noticed that too. When I first started my podcast, I was not good at talking to people. And now I don't know when to shut up. You know?
That's great, though, because, I mean, you learn to express yourself the way, the right way, not just like the way you've been doing it the rest of your life, which is you've been shy about things your whole life. Yeah, at least for myself, really, I should say.
You got to put your foot through the door. And, you know, you got to get a foot in the door. Once you get that in, you can make your next step in and get to the front desk, and then you are set, you know?
Yes.
Analogy being just get your foot in the door. And
yes, exactly. I mean, it all starts with one step.
one step out the door
Yes.
and into the door.
Yeah, yeah. What do you got going on for the following weeks coming up, or what? What's up with you?
Following weeks, I am definitely going to be talking about cosplay on the podcast. Cosplay is a big part of comic book culture, and it's not talked about enough. And I feel like I know I'm friends with a lot of cosplayers on TikTok, and you know what, might as well get them on a podcast. And there's another guy I want to talk to him. I got to figure out how to work lightsabers into a podcast because there's one guy who knows everything about buying lightsaber, like the type of lightsabers, like NeoPixel lightsabers, Hasbro lightsabers, and he just knows everything about them. And I just want to get him on a podcast, but I don't know exactly what topic to talk about.
Right.
You know,
Can you?
I might do like a ranking.
Can I pick your brain a little? How you set
Go
up your
for it.
podcast? Okay, so
Sure.
do you when you prepare to talk to somebody on your podcast? Do you plan ahead? Like say this week.
I set up an outline. Yeah.
Okay, because like I said, I'm not doing what you're doing. I'm just doing it. Okay, let's see. Because I'm barely getting. You could say I'm barely getting started. Because like I'm telling you, five downloads per episode. It's not much, but
Right.
it's getting started. But for me, since I don't get out there like the way you do, what I do is when I find videos or something that somebody does something interesting, I go through their feed and I look at everything they do, and then I'm like, okay, that'll be interesting to talk to this person. And then I'll send them a message. I'll be like, hey, my name's Oscar, and I have a podcast and this and that. Would you be interested in having a conversation with me? Then that's basically what I do.
Yeah. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I usually wait for them to like follow me back, so that way I could DM them on TikTok, or I'll DM them on. No, excuse me. I will DM them on Instagram, YouTube, whatever. I will do my best at.
You can
get
DM on
out
YouTube?
there. In a way, kind of. I comment.
Oh, to the comments.
But,
okay.
but
No, that makes sense.
sometimes it's only worked like once, but
But it worked.
It worked, yeah.
Yeah.
And and I try to be as nice and friendly as I can, so that way they'd be willing to come back.
Right.
And then I have somebody to come back for another episode. And I've made so many friends through this. My mother, she's always telling me, she's like, you got to make friends at school. And I'm like, I have friends in like Washington. I have friends in California. What are you talking about? I got to make friends.
You socialize.
Exactly. I am widening the spectrum here.
Exactly.
I have a friend in Canada now because
Dude,
I'm friends with a guy in London.
I'm so oh wow, that's exciting. I'm so excited. I don't know. I got somebody I'm going to talk to in the upcoming days from Canada, and that's exciting to me because I'm like, damn,
You're going international.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. So hopefully, out of that conversation, I'll have an international friend too.
Yeah, on my cosplay channel, there was a gentleman I had from Canada, super nice guy. He does a lot of Luke Skywalker cosplays. Super nice guy.
Nice.
And not just because he was Canadian, but
no, because he was a nice person, right?
He was a nice guy, and I'd be happy to have him on again. And the two ladies that I also had on with him, yeah, I had about three. I do my best to have like 3 people on, but now at this point, I'm just trying to get at least one person because it's easier to talk. But like when you have 3 people on, you got to make sure you level it out,
Yeah, so nobody's talking over each other.
Right.
So when you talk to them, you were talking to them in person, or did you do it through video as well?
Oh, Zoom is the pinnacle of my podcast at this point. I have not left my state, and I've talked to people in California. I've talked to a person in London. I've talked to a person in Canada. I've talked to people all over the world. And I'm still sitting here in Tennessee.
And you haven't even left your room, right?
Yeah. I don't have to. I watched the movies, the Snyder Cut with Zack Snider from my dorm room.
Nice.
Like literally, I told my roommate, I was like, dude, if you want to come over and watch it with me, come on over. I got 4 hours to kill, man.
Nice.
I wouldn't mind having company.
Yeah, somebody to be like, hey, did you see this? You're seeing this?
That's it. Yeah.
That's right.
Martian Manhunter came out on the screen. That's basically, I literally ran over there to show him. I was like, oh, dude, Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. By the way, spoilers. Martian Manhunter makes an appearance.
Okay, well now they know. Spoiler alert. Now the 5 people that listen to me, now they know.
Yeah, right.
That's cool. Yeah. That's cool. See, at the beginning of the pandemic when I couldn't have my friend that I usually do the podcast with, I was so worried about the audio. Like, I can't do it through Zoom because, like, I thought it wasn't genuine. And even now, I feel like it's not genuine. I don't know why. But when I'm here having the conversation with you right now, I feel like it's genuine. I love having the conversation like this. Yeah. But when I'm waiting for the time to do it, I don't know if it's my self-doubt, but I keep telling myself it's not going to be good. Why are you even doing it? Those right. thoughts still come to my head after 137 episodes.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I know exactly where you're coming from. I still I was on the I was talking about the Star Wars podcast I was on
right
a couple weeks ago. I literally texted him right after. I was like, I'm sorry if I was acting a fool. You know, I was like, dude, I was so nervous because I always wanted to be on the High Ground podcast, and I got so excited. I texted it. I texted Darth Chaco. I texted Brandon. I was just like, dude, I'm so sorry if I acted a fool. I listened to it like 2 weeks, couple days later when he uploaded it on Spotify. My sister was in the car with me, and I was just like, hey, can you listen to this with me to make sure? It sounded. I was like. Very professional. I sounded like a professional, and I was just like,
nice.
My sister was like, "Why'd you hate?" She was like, "Did you really text him saying I'm sorry?" I'm like,
it's your self-doubt.
Yeah, because it sounded like I messed it all up, but I didn't.
See, I know that I'm not ready to come to somebody's podcast because that makes me really anxious and really nervous. Just even thinking about going. Yeah, because I don't want to mess up their audio. Because I understand the work that it takes to work to make one. You know, from the beginning to the end. Because yes. I'm the one that does my own, so I know how it works.
And the last thing you want is for some dummy to come out here and say something stupid. You know, and
right.
Like, oh no, and you don't want to be that dummy. You know, and I was like basically what we were talking about podcasting, and then we were doing pitch meetings for pitching Star Wars ideas. Like what movies should we make if and I came up with some stupid stuff. You know, we all did really. Like there was one where we came up with The Bachelor, but Star Wars, and
that would be interesting. How do you work that out?
Wipeout, but with Jar Jar doing Wipeout.
There you go.
You know, that'd be interesting to watch. But we were doing that, and I was just like, dude, I am so sorry if I acted like a fool on your podcast because I felt like I was the only one that was like trying to make jokes, and my sister was just like, you sound like the only one with like a personality. I was like, well, I mean, they all have personality, and you can hear it as we get into the conversation. At the beginning, we all sound like quiet and nervous, and then when we're like an hour in, you can just. It's like we're a bunch of dudes around a campfire with a beer. You know, we're all like comfortable with each other. So that's the hard part about Zoom because you're not comfortable with the person you're talking to yet, and you gotta build that trust. You know, because I remember the first time you invited me. That was actually the first time I was ever invited onto a podcast.
Nice. I feel so gifted that you gotten this big now, and now I was the first one to invite you. Yeah.
You could be like, I knew him before he was cool. That's what you can say.
But you were cool though when I met you, so I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I was making fun of Kardashians.
Oh, okay. Right. That went way over my head.
Yeah, and incidentally, I actually made a video about a Kardashian the other day. I said that they were trying to pop plastic surgery boobies. They were trying to implants. They were trying to pop them, and I was just like, dude, wait till the Avengers think Thanos is like a bad guy. Wait till they meet the Kardashians, man. And that video got almost 200,000 likes, and that was yesterday.
Nice. I'm gonna go back and look at it.
So it's like every time I talk about the Kardashians, somehow, some way, I go popular. I don't know what it is.
Well, it's a nonsense popular subject.
Right. It's like out of the blue. Like I just make a joke.
Right.
And they're just that's hilarious.
Well, that's why people like it because you're making a joke.
Right. I do my best to make a joke, but also make it good for everybody, you know, especially nowadays because everybody's triggered.
Right.
You know, and you got to watch it. So I'm like, okay.
I'm scared of that too. I'm like, did I say something right? Lately I've been thinking about my very, very first episodes. I'm like, damn, did I say something that's offensive or what?
Yeah, no, I've gone back and listened to a couple of my old podcasts, and I'm just like, ah, man, that didn't age well.
That's why I
You
don't want
know,
to go back and listen to them.
like if you go really deep back into my TikTok profile before like the big Bill Cosby scandal, where there was a joke that was made about Bill Cosby, and I was just like, yeah, imagine if he roofied people, and literally like a year later, this whole story, I'm like, wow, damn, that didn't. I cleaned that out. I deleted that. I was like, I don't want that getting
Yeah.
into anybody's hands. But I made that joke, and I was like, "Oh no!" And a year later, he was accused of doing it, and then found guilty of doing that very thing that I joked about.
Right, but somehow you knew. But you know what? I've heard conversations on podcasts where they say that they knew that he was up to no good, like some weird shit was going on with him,
Right,
and they just turned a blind eye on him.
right. It's weird, and I noticed it in television shows like Family Guy guessed that Bruce Jenner was gonna be, or The Simpsons. The
Right.
Simpsons, they know everything.
Exact. What is that about?
I'm starting to think that Matt Groening, the creator of The Simpsons, I'm thinking that he's a time traveler, and the show Futurama is just a documentary of the future.
What? What? Is that a
Conspiracy theory.
conspiracy? We started a
It's a
new one?
conspiracy. I guess we did. That's my head canon.
But look, I understand that people think that about The Simpsons, right? But they've had so many episodes. Don't you think they're going to get something
Yeah,
coincidental?
you got 30 years of context. Most chances are you're guessing something.
But to the teeth where Donald Trump is going down the stairs?
Yeah, yeah. Or Walt Disney Studios, Fox buying out Disney buying out Fox.
That as well, right?
Got that. What else is there?
There's a
There's
9/11 episode thing going on.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's an
And
alien one. The newer ones have aliens. What do you think that means?
we might get aliens. Who knows?
There's been
Time
a lot of
travel, maybe.
UFO sightings. There's been more UFO sightings. Like, what do you think of that?
What do I think of the UFO say? I'm surprised there aren't many comic books. Back in the old days, my old comic book store owner, my old boss,
That's what I wanted
his
to
dad.
ask you. Hold on. Let me hold you on that. Don't let me
Yeah,
forget.
sure,
That's what I wanted to ask you about the old comic book store you used to work at. But go on. Go back to the other story.
sure. Basically, he told me a story about his dad. Basically, his dad was a volunteer fireman, and he made a prank. They went out into a cornfield and used the fire truck to make it look like there's a spaceship. And it was back at that time when aliens were like a big thing.
Right.
And my old boss, he called one of his buddies and told him that story. And his buddy was like, I heard this somewhere. And he goes through his books, he finds a comic book, and it actually mentions that exact story. So his dad actually made his way into a comic book, and I
Somehow.
thought, you know. But what was it that you wanted to ask
No,
about? Your
where I think you used to live, that the comic book store got robbed or something.
Yeah, it wasn't the comic book store. It was actually the card shop right next door, but they're kind of like merged together.
Okay.
And I believe it was about $40,000 worth of property that was stolen.
Damn.
And I called them about it, and I was like, "Hey, do you want me to start a GoFundMe?" There were so many people asking me to do that, and I was like, I asked them. They were insured, so they were all good there. But it was just the idea because some of that stuff you're never going to get back.
Yeah.
Hey, sure, you're getting reimbursed, you're getting the money back, but you're not getting
The
the
product,
card back.
which is
Yeah,
the card itself is the valuable thing, right?
yeah, exactly. But some of them aren't even made anymore.
Yeah.
And that it was. I was so upset when I heard about it because that was my first shop. That was my those guys are like family to me, and I was so upset when I heard about it. But luckily, I called both the managers, and I was just like, "Yo, what happened?" They were like, "It's all good. We're gonna get
So
fully reimbursed. We had insurance." I was just like, "Well, that's good." So
so
they're
what
they're
happened
still doing
though?
good.
Did they break the windows or?
Yeah, they broke the front door open. They I guess they threw a rock or something through the front door and just stole a bunch of stuff and ran away with it. And just typical. And I was just like, "There's cameras out there, aren't they?" They were like, "We couldn't see anything. I guess
They
I
didn't
don't know."
catch nothing. Yeah, that's
And
sad.
from to my knowledge, nobody has been caught with any of it. If I know that town, I my theory is that it was for drugs. That is my theory, but that's not been confirmed.
Yeah,
so,
but you may never know the truth, right?
Yeah, and it sucks because the two guys that run that shop, they're just the greatest people, you know, and it's, you know, that town is full of weirdos, junkies, and you know, that shop brought a little bit of light to that place, you know.
Yeah, and it's gonna get worse. I mean, with time going on, that they keep things closed, it's gonna get worse. It's getting worse.
I hope it doesn't. You know, I don't want it to.
I agree with you. I agree. I hope everything and everyone gets it together. I just hope it all goes well. But yeah,
they're all doing good. I've been sending them jokes. Like I'm in a group chat with the guys because I used to work there, and I'm still in the group chat for work. So I still like send them jokes and stuff, and they're all joking around. They're still having a good time. So I don't think it hurt. I don't think it really hurt them financially. I think the worst part about it is that they had to replace a door.
Right.
And their stuff got stolen, but they still got reimbursed.
Well, the good thing is they got their money back, but the crappy thing is the valuable is gone. But it is what it is. As long as
the card shop that's really they use it for like G&D and stuff like that, so people come in and play D&D. And he sells board games, but the cards, you know, they're collectibles. It just sucks what happens.
They have more value than just money, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm glad to hear that you're doing good and that you're doing all these cool things, man. I'm so excited that I get to talk to you and hear from you that you're doing these things, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate that you're giving me the opportunity to talk to you, and hey, let's keep doing this in the future again, man.
Yeah, of course. I'd love to be back on. It is a pleasure. It's always a pleasure talking to you guys. What happened to your buddy? What happened to your co-host?
I didn't reschedule it because he had something. I mean, I didn't schedule it with him because he had something to do this week on today. Yeah, so he usually comes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's when we record.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
So, but he wasn't available today. So, and when I had already scheduled it with you, when I told him about it, so that it was like. I messed up. It was my bad.
Well, tell him I said hello because, you know, he was always a pleasure to talk to. You guys are hilarious. I love both of you guys.
Thank you. I'll let him know. I
love being on the show. You know, and I got to catch up on your podcast. I've been busy, you know, with all this school. I'm in college, you know, and I have a month left, so midterms are coming up. I got a bunch of projects due. But I promise you, I'll probably turn it on as background noise and listen to you guys.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Argue like an old married couple. It's always fun.
Dude, we've been going it a lot more lately because he's had things to do, and I've been giving him a lot of crap about it. So we've been going at it a lot. So
that's called friendship. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But hey,
there's a lot of stuff coming up in the comic book world. There's a lot of stuff coming up, so expect a lot more coming from me on my page soon.
Sure. Okay, let plug your page and your podcast and all that too, please.
Oh yeah. You guys can find me on TikTok at Schubert. That's SCHUBYDOOBERT. I know it's a lot. If you want to, just go back and you can re-listen to that. But you can also find me on Instagram at Comic Comedy Podcast. You can find me on YouTube at Comic Comedians, and you can also find me on Instagram as Schubert. I post photos and I do funny videos and I talk about comic books. And I'm always open to talking to people in the comment section.
All right. With that being said, my friend, thank you very much. I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. You have a good day, Oscar.
Thank you. You have a good night. Later. Ladies and gentlemen and non-binary folk, I told you that my friend Ben Schubert. Again, thank you for listening. This was part 2.